Alright, welcome to Apostolic Praise 101 for bass, a crash course in bass. In this course we're going to be going over quite a few things. We're going to be learning a lot of things. It's a very hands-on course, so get ready because there's going to be a lot of material in these lessons. Please remember that all of your homework is due the following Monday. Be sure to go online and do the quiz, or you can just email it back to me. One of the very first things we're going to be learning in this course is actually a little bit about the piano. And you're probably thinking, piano? I thought this was a bass course. It is, but please remember that in the majority of Western churches, the piano is the lead instrument. Therefore, it's very essential that you learn the piano notes and be very familiar with them for a number of reasons. First of all, the most important reason to know these is to play the bass by ear in church. It's easy to get lost at first. If you know the piano notes, you can quickly jump back into the song or find that note that you just maybe can't seem to hear. How? It's very easy. Most piano players play the bass note in the pinky of their left hand most of the time. Therefore, if you can see their left hand's pinky, you can tell what note, and you can tell what note it is, then you can play that note and follow the piano playing by watching their left hand movement. After a couple of times through, though, you're probably going to have the whole song memorized already, and after doing this for a couple of times, maybe a couple of weeks, couple of months, you're really going to know the majority of songs that church plays. The same thing can be used if maybe you don't have a piano, you just have an organ player. Same concept can be used by watching the foot pedals on the organ. They're the same notes. Eventually, of course, when you're more experienced, when you have learned and mastered how to play by ear a little better, you should no longer need to do this, except maybe every once in a while you might have to just look to just make sure you're playing the right note, maybe on a difficult song or something. The second reason knowing the piano notes helps is it helps us to be able to visualize the notes on the piano when we're thinking of which note comes next on the bass. We'll discuss this more here in just a minute. Okay, so the notes on the piano. Let's go over the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet only goes from A to G. So you have the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. On the piano, these notes just tend to repeat itself, and they do on the bass as well. A, B, C, D, E, F, G starts all over again at A, B, C, D, E, F, G. On a full-size piano, the very first note is an A. Of course, you're not going to want to have to count up every time trying to figure out what note is which. But what I would do is look at the diagram. I believe it's on page 4 of your lesson. And you'll notice that all of the white notes are the alphabet letters. Okay, and there's a little pattern there. There's 2 black notes and then 3 black notes. If you look at a piano, it's always that way: 2 black notes, 3 black notes, 2 black notes, 3 black notes. It follows it along in a pattern. The note to the left of the 2 black notes is C. The note in between the 2 black notes is D. If you're looking at the diagram, this will make sense to you. The note to the right of the 2 black notes is E, and then after E is F, which is to the left of the 3 black notes. Then you have G, A, B, and C. I would really recommend finding a piano and learning these notes, or if you don't have one it's accessible to you, just watch and read the diagram and really study that. Each one of the black notes also has 2 different names, and this same concept is applicable to the bass, so you want to try to memorize this as well. It'll really help you later, I promise. There are 2 different names. There's the sharp name. A sharp basically looks like a tic-tac-toe symbol. There's a flat name. A flat basically looks like a lowercase b. And you can think of sharp means go up, okay? In other words, you go up to the note that sounds higher. On the bass, going up is this way. You're going to go all the way up from here, all the way up to here, okay? So for playing the bass, you're going to, that's just going to be up. Going down is going to be this way, though. And you'll be able to hear it because the notes will be louder, higher, or they'll be lower, okay? So next, on the piano, it's the same concept. The notes, as they get higher, going from right hand up, it's going to be going up. When you're going down, it's going to be lower as well. So those are basically how sharps and flats work. Flats basically go down, sharps go up. So for instance, say on the bass, this is a G right here, going down. This would be G flat. Going up, this will be G sharp. We'll learn more about that later. Okay, so let's go into what half steps and whole steps are, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. So half steps and whole steps. A half step is simply 2 notes that are right next to each other. For example, C to C sharp is a half step. If you're looking at the diagram, D to E flat is a half step. E to F is a half step. They're two notes that are adjacent. They're right next to each other. F to F sharp is a half step. G to A flat is a half step. A to A sharp is a half step. B to C is a half step. One whole step basically equals two half steps. Makes sense, right? A half plus a half equals a whole, or equals one. In other words, you're skipping a note. For example, from C to D, and we'll learn that on the bass here in a minute, from C to D is a whole step. You're skipping the middle note D flat. Okay? From D flat to E flat is a whole step. You're skipping D. We're still thinking about this in piano terms for now. We'll go over it in bass terms here in a minute. From E flat to F is a whole step. You're skipping the E note. From G to A is a whole step. You're skipping the A flat. And I may be kind of flying through this. You might have to watch this one or two more times, but try to really just, I'm trying to ingrain in you what the notes on the piano are. Really try to focus on those, try to learn those as quickly as you can. It'll really help you in becoming an awesome bass player. Okay, great. So let's go over the notes, the bass notes for the key of C. Okay, so I have a 5-string here. Hope it doesn't confuse any of you guys out there with a 4-string. The only difference is this very top string here is my extra string here. So it is a B, but if you have a 4-string, you're only going to have an E, which is the second note, an A, a D, and a G, which is the very last string. The very thinnest one is G. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram on page number 5, if this is E, your second string, or my second string, maybe your first if you have a 4-string, the very first fret would be an F. Okay, you may be saying, well, what's a fret? A fret is basically divided up. You see the little iron bars on your bass? Each one of those is a fret. So this is our third fret. This is our first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, and so on and so forth. You'll notice that you probably have little dots on your bass. Those tend to be on every other one. So the first dot's on the third fret, the next dot's on the fifth, the next on the seventh, the next on the ninth, and then the next one is on the 12th. And you notice it has double dots. What's important about that? That's where your bass starts repeating. Okay, so your E string, you play it open, play it just like that. Your middle finger, your pointer finger, either one. It's an E note. If you play it on that double dot down there, it's also an E note. It's when the music starts repeating itself. And we'll go over this more later as well. Okay, so your first fret on the E string is F. Okay, your third fret on the E string is G, and your fifth fret on the E string is A. Okay, so E, F, G, A, E, F, G, A. Okay, let's go to the A string. Okay, make sure you're playing the same note as me. And the second fret is B, third fret is C, okay, and the fifth fret is D. Okay, so once again, A is open, B is the second fret, C is the third fret, and D is the fifth fret. You want to kind of just memorize those. All right. On the D string, E is your second fret, F is your third, and G is your fifth. Okay, so E is your second, F is your third, G is your fifth. Open is D. Okay, on your G, your second fret is A, fourth fret is B, and fifth fret is C. Okay, so A, B, C. All right, fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and start putting these in some songs. Just to go over this, the way I usually play with my right hand when I'm playing is there's two different ways you can do it, but I usually hold, because I have this 5-string, I usually hold my thumb on that 5-string, and then I alternate my index finger and my pointer finger playing the notes. Okay, I don't use my ring finger, I don't use my pinky finger to play the notes. I just use the first two and I alternate them. Okay, that's the best way. That's the fastest way to be able to play, is alternating those two fingers. You can also put your thumb on top of the pickup, the little black thing right here, picks up your sound. You can also put it there if you just have a 4-string maybe, or you can put it on top of your E string, your thumb on top of your E string, whichever way you want to do it. Whatever's most comfortable for you. If you have a 5-string though, I really do recommend putting your thumb on that top string. Okay, great. So let's move on to some more stuff. What is a scale? A scale is simply a series of notes played one after another in a pattern. The pattern for a major scale is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, the C major scale, you don't have to necessarily memorize that pattern there. I think you have the cheat sheets and everything already available for you. But the C major scale, which is the one we're going to be focusing on today, contains the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, just all the alphabet notes from C to C. Okay, I'll just go ahead and memorize that. But what you're going to want to remember is when we play that on the bass, and I'll show you, I believe I have a diagram for it in our lesson as well, but I'll just show you very quickly. What you're going to remember is start on C on the A string, okay, 3rd fret, go to D on the 5th fret, okay, then go to your D string, E, 2nd fret, F, 3rd fret, G, 5th fret, go to your G, A, 2nd fret, B, 4th, and C, 5th, okay, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, one more time, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Give you a little something to practice there. You can do it backwards too. Okay, give you a little something to practice there. Practice that. Try to do it as evenly as possible, and of course you can also do it. Try to do it faster. That'll build your speed. It's going to build your finger control and your finger agility. So. Great, so you're probably asking your question, what are the slashes for now? The Apostolic Praise books use the slashes to show rhythm. So for example, if you have a C followed by 3 slashes or 3 lines, this is 4 beats total. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? The first C note is simply telling you to play a C note for 1 beat. And then you're going to have 3 slashes after that C, thus demonstrating 4 total beats there. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to page 7, the major and minor exercise songs in the key of C. Now one thing on the bass, if you play with a band, if you're learning to play for church and you're practicing with drummers maybe, if you really pay attention to their bass pedal, it will help you out a lot. The bass pedal is playing the rhythm that you want to try to copy. It's playing the beat that you want to try to copy. Typically bass players and the bass drum typically play on the 1 and the 3. What I mean when I say that is we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 in most of our songs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're going to want to play 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you're hitting the note on every other beat on the 1 and the 3. And when you get more advanced rhythms, we'll get away from that a little bit, but still that basic theory is how bass playing usually works. All right, so let's go ahead and play exercise song 1 for C, F, and G in the key of C. And remember that C is right here, okay, and I'm going to play F, 1st fret on our G, on our E string, I'm sorry, and then we're going to play G, 3rd fret on our E string, okay, that's what I'm going to play them, so C, F, G. Alright, so exercise song 1. So we're just playing on the 1 and 3 every single time. This next song I'll count aloud a little bit to help you out as well. Okay, the next one we're going to be doing A. Okay, which you can just do an open A if you want, or you can play A right here. We're going to do D. Okay, which you can do an open D, or you can do the D right here. I'm going to do the A and the D right here because I don't like playing the open ones as much. And then you can do E and just open. Okay, and I'll probably just go ahead and do open E just to keep it simple there. Alright, let's go ahead and play it. So 1, 2, 3, go. A, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you may be asking the question, why did the A, the D, and the E have a little M after that? What that basically means is those are minor chords. When they don't have a little M, it's a major chord. We'll learn more about that later, the difference between a major and minor chord. For now, it's not that big of a difference to you as a bass player, but down the road it will be. It'll be very important for you when you start learning more runs and fills. You're going to want to know whether it's a major or minor chord, so that you can be sure what kind of fill or what kind of run that you can throw in there. All right, so page number 8. Here's where we have the cheat sheet, for major scales. and it has the fingering below each major scale, so you can be sure to play the right fingering. Fingering is pretty much the same for every scale you do. In fact, if you've learned one scale, you've learned them all on the bass. You just move down and start on a different note, play the same pattern. We'll discuss that more later as well. For now, just focus on learning the C major scale. And of course, be sure to try to play those exercise songs. And I believe it's in the very next lesson that we're actually going to be getting into our first few real church songs. We're going to be learning how to play those. We're going to play them with a full band track, so you'll be able to hear what it sounds like. You'll be able to practice and get that real in-church feel for the bass, because that's what it's about. You know, you can play by yourself, but on the bass, playing by yourself can be a little bit boring because bass is not really much of a solo instrument. You know, there's some really awesome bass players out there. You can do. I mean, I can solo with a bass guitar, but really, typically, when you're practicing the bass, especially when you're first starting, if you're not practicing with something or somebody, it can be a little boring or tedious because it doesn't sound like a whole lot by itself at first. But down the road, you'll learn how to do most of that. But go ahead and practice those exercise songs. Go ahead and focus on memorizing the notes and where they are. The most important notes, though, I'll just say, are the C, F, G, A, D, and E. If you don't learn any of the rest of the notes, just try to learn those on the three main places that we did them. C right here, F right here, G right here, okay, A right here, D right here, and then open E. Those are really all you're going to need to know for the songs we're going to be learning in our next lesson. So God bless, and hope you enjoyed this lesson. We'll see you again for lesson 2.